The Kings scored on their first shot on the series on Stuart Skinner. They scored 4 times on him before the end of the second period. Skinner put up a horrible .800 save percentage in the game and lost despite an incredible comeback by McDavid and the Oilers. And just moments ago, Chris Knobloch announced no decision has been made about a Game 2 starter just yet. Ryan, you're on. What do you think of the decision?
The lack of decision, the lack of announcement, the not saying anything. I think Stuart Skinner is going to start in Game 2, and I think that's the right call. Don't have any information. I'm not reporting that as fact. But I think that, when the Oilers play a good, solid hockey game and Stuart Skinner doesn't, that's when you got to pull the rug out from underneath them. But there was a lot going wrong with that Oiler team for the first 2 periods of that game. And while there were a couple you could say, yep, potentially Skinner should have had them, by that logic, should the Kings be looking at making a change? Because I would argue that Darcy Kemper let in softer goals than Stuart Skinner did in that game last night. So, I understand Pickard was very good during the regular season, and there's a good chance we'll see him at some point. But I don't think this is the time to pull the rug out from underneath Stuart Skinner just yet.
But something's got to change, Ryan. You're McDavid or Cidle. You both score to help dig the team out of a 4-0 hole. You tie the game, and then less than a minute later, your goalie gives up a fluttering puck through a screen. You know McDavid and Cidle as well, if not better than anybody else covering this team. What do you think the two are going through right now?
Well, I think they're probably frustrated. They're in it. They're in it with their team. I don't think there's any sort of feelings of feeling sorry for themselves and separating themselves from the group in any way, shape, or form. They're frustrated with the way they came out. By the way, them too. They were not great either, Gino, for the first 2 periods of that game. Now, when they woke up, they're the ones that woke up and went superhuman, so credit to them. But you can't separate Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl from the rest of the team, and I don't think they do that either. So are they frustrated? Yeah. Are they looking in the mirror? I'm sure they are about that first 40 minutes. I don't buy it, Gino. There's no superstar player sitting there saying, give us a goal. Nothing like that going on. These guys will take as much responsibility on themselves for those first 2 periods as anybody else.
All right, then. Enough blame to go around. So now what? The Oilers need a shot in the arm. They've really missed Evander Kane and the physical presence he could bring to the series. Kane hasn't played since Game 2 of last year's Cup Final. Could we see him in the lineup tomorrow night in L.A.?
Yeah, I think we could. Chris Knobloch listed him as a possibility, and he had ruled him out a couple of days before game number 1. So different verbiage there heading into game number 2. I think it is possible that we could see him. I have no idea what to expect from him. You made the point. It's been over 10 months since he played any game. I've been watching him practice. He looks pretty good in practice. He's skating well, seems to be handling the puck okay. I've been watching him over the last month and a half. He's probably pretty raring to go. So, I think he can come in, skate hard, finish checks. Finishing checks wasn't an issue for them in game number 1. They out-hit the Kings. But you can always use a little bit more of that in the lineup. So I would say the fixes, if they're looking for Evander Kane to come in and suddenly make something different than last game for the first 40 minutes, I think that's ill-advised. There are definitely players that need to be better, and we can talk about some more of those guys. So maybe Klingberg comes in on the back end. That's the other one, Gino, too, that, Josh Brown played under 5 minutes. John Klingberg has barely played any hockey here over the last month or 2, but it sounds like there's a good chance he'll come in for game 2.
They're really struggling to find a deep partner for Evan Bousard right now. They tried Wallman, Kulak. What direction do you think they go with that?
I'm not sure. Maybe more Darnell Nurse. The problem is, Gino, they were rotating 5 guys. So when you rotate 5 guys, your pairings are a mess. You can't expect to be playing with the same guy shift in, shift out when you're rotating through 5 guys. And that's a problem for them. Yes, they're struggling, for some consistency and to find a partner for Evan Bousard, but I'm going to lay this out there for you, Gino. Evan Bousard showed the world he can be a fantastic defenseman at the biggest moments. He was exceptional last year, out in the last minute of games defending 1-goal leads. Yeah. Evan Bousard showed the world he knows how to defend at a Stanley Cup playoff level. They desperately need Evan Bousard to wake up defensively. All year long, his defensive game has been ho-hum. Nowhere near where it was in the playoffs. His offensive game and his puck-moving ability, you cannot deny that. But with Matthias Ekholm out of the lineup, with Jake Wallman hurting, they desperately need the best of Evan Bouchard in his own end. And, the turnovers were egregious for sure. But his intensity level and attention to detail defending was at a regular season level in that game last night. They desperately need Evan Bouchard to find that playoff level in his own end, or this team is going to have a heck of a time getting through this. He is monumentally important, monumentally capable. He needs to do it, Gino. His defensive game was not nearly where it needed to be in game one.
All right, you and I are not entirely on the same page on what happened in game one, but you get the final word now. Game one was ugly, but it was just one game. So what's your message to Oiler fans right now? Pump the brakes, don't panic, there's a lot of hockey to be played, or from what we saw, the Oilers could be in big trouble and this could be a short playoff run for Edmonton.
Yeah, well, my comment to Oiler fans watching is like and subscribe, and please comment down below. Listen, overriding message to Oiler fans is this team had not played together at all over the last month. No line continuity, no D-pairing continuity. Stuart Skinner had barely played. This team did not hit the playoffs, Gino, in full stride. It was messy. The first 40 minutes of the game, they were a bit of a train wreck. Little continuity, little speed. Connor McDavid admitted today they did not come out nearly hard enough. Well, LA did, but they found it. They found it, Gino, and I know you don't believe in moral victories. I think I've heard you say that before. There are no moral victories.
I hate that term.
But I'm here to tell you, I would suggest that the result of game one and the way it finished with that Oiler comeback might have done more to damage LA's psyche than the overall loss would have to Edmonton's. The Oilers know they can be way better than they were in that first 40 minutes. If you're the Kings, there was nothing they could do about Connor McDavid once he decided to check into that game. So I would say a bit of a moral victory for the Oilers with that comeback.
I won't use the term moral victory, but I will grant you this. The Kings were the second best defensive team in the NHL. Darcy Kemper had the second best goals against in the league during the regular season. And as you say, the Oilers still scored 5 on them, including 2 inside the last 2 minutes. So the Oilers know they can score on the Kings. Now they just got to figure out a way to keep the puck out of their own net. Rishaug, enjoy the game, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Look forward to it, pal.